Hello, we're here happily on a Cape Ann Finns adventure and interview with a young gentleman from Finland named Juuso Pesonen. Is that correct?
Yep, perfect.
Thank you. Because the pronunciation of Finnish names can be a little tricky and different for Raymond Hildenen, Wayne Soini, and Rob Ranta.
Right.
We're all Finns too.
Yeah.
So this is a totally Finnish hour, I guess, that we're going to have. Please introduce the Cape Ann Finns who are sponsoring this in a way that folks out there can understand that if they're Finnish or they just want to be Finns, they can join the Cape Ann Finns.
That's correct. Thanks, Wayne. The Cape Ann Finns is a group that formed in 2017. The primary purpose is to preserve and also let people know about the Finnish culture and heritage here on Cape Ann. The Finns were the fourth largest immigrant group to come to Cape Ann. We grew over time. We are a nonprofit and also incorporated. And over time, we've raised our membership to about 300, just a little over 300. You don't, as Wayne said, you don't have to be Finnish to join the group. You just have to be curious about the culture and the heritage of a community that was part of Cape Ann for, up until the 1960s. And more information about our group can be found at capeannfinns.com. And we hope you'll come to our sessions that we post in the Times and on social media. So we'll see you soon at our next gathering.
Yes, and indeed, you check the calendar because every month or two there's something stirring in the Cape Ann Finns. And typically it's either in Rockport or at the Lanesville Community Center.
Right.
Yeah. That's it. Juuso, tell us why you're in Rockport at this time.
Last year, I started dreaming about being an exchange student. Then I found this organization called the Rotaries, and then I went as a youth exchange student through their program, and then they placed me here. So it was pretty much all luck to end up here.
Luck except its merit, I know about that. Rotary,
yep,
yes, is an international group. And wherever there is Rotary, they like to bring students together from those countries. So they mix and match. Somebody from America might go to Finland, or somebody from Germany might go to wherever they have, if it's Brazil or somewhere else. Let me say, I was a Rotary International undergraduate at Helsinki University 1 year. So I ended up speaking a little bit of Finnish, not too much. But I'm going to tell, and Cape Ann Finns, this is news to you, but maybe news to you. Did you know that Finland is hiring seasonal workers for the strawberry? You know that?
Yep, I did. It's been
and I tell you, people out there who at least have the ability and interest in picking berries, packing berries, doing different things to do with the agricultural crops of Finland, are invited. You don't have to be Finnish. You don't have to be. You don't have to be European. You don't have to speak Finnish. You just have to be interested in being over there in Finland for a season. And may I say, you will translate this momentarily. Omama mansika muuma mustika.
Yep.
What is that?
It's own land strawberry, other land blueberry. So I don't really know.
Oh, wow.
It's just,
I love that.
If you like strawberries, it shows.
Yeah.
Because Finland has wonderful strawberries.
oh, they're the best one in the world.
Best in the
Like
world,
candy.
and I recommend it.
It's like candy.
It is like candy. It's sweet, delicious. You put cream with it and you don't even need sugar, but some people put sugar.
Yeah, does that tie in at all with what I sent you this morning with breakfast?
Finnish breakfast, and they have fruit. That's the best part of the breakfast is the fruit. When I don't really, Oatmeal's okay, but it's the fruit, right? For Finnish breakfast. But what do we have here? I just do want to finish off on this topic because if there's anybody interested, this is a real program. You can look it up online. Finland Summer Jobs 2025, and it is intriguing for those people who can, I think, you can easily qualify, but you might not be selected because I'm sure there's thousands of people applying.
I'm
There's
sorry.
only 600 jobs.
I beg your pardon. Is this for Americans to go to Finland or Finnish people to come here, or both?
This program is
Yeah.
for people who are, including Americans,
Yeah.
but not just Americans. You can
But
be
they'll go to-
Europeans, you can be Americans, you can be Canadians. You can apply to be one of the seasonal workers in the fruit, strawberry and blueberry and so on,
Finland?
in Finland for
Awesome.
one summer, and they will pay you. In the case of berry pickers, they will pay you by what you pick. So if you're a real fast picker of strawberries, you can make a bundle.
And your
If
son
you're
is a
not-
great picker of strawberries.
He is.
And maybe I can take him along with me.
Tell about him. And the other is if you do one of the other jobs in the industry, which exists, those other jobs, you win an hourly wage, equivalent of a competitive wage for the European Union, and the employers provide the housing. So when you put it all together, I'd like to spend the summer in Finland. I like to do some work in the outdoors in nice weather and pick berries and sometimes probably eat some.
And eat some.
Right? And I want to earn some money and I want to have free housing for the time. And I want to learn about Finnish and
Sure.
Finland. And that's available for the government. The government of Finland knows what it's doing. They want to introduce people in a nice way, but also get something
Yes.
done. Because there's difficulty in gathering all the crops as fast as you can do it before they spoil in the
That's
fields,
right, in a short
right?
period of time.
In a short period of time. So I've got to say, you get there if you're interested, and that's one of the ways. We have, you can show, you show it, Vikings hockey star, he won't say star, I have to say it because he's modest, he's Finnish. You have scored goals that are important in some of the games of the, tell us about how did you learned how to play hockey somewhere else than Rockport.
Yeah.
Where did you learn to play hockey?
I learned how to play hockey first on a frozen lake on my summer cabin that we went to in the winter too, of course, to play hockey. Then we transferred from that to the outdoor rinks, hockey rinks, and then from that, when I was 3 or 4, to my hometown team. And there's
3 or 4 years old?
yeah,
You were
started-
playing hockey like a game with rules and all?
yeah,
Wow. Okay.
5 maybe somewhere around there.
When did you
Wonderful.
start speaking Finnish?
I don't know why people say it's like hard because I've been speaking since I was 3.
Yeah.
Yes, I like
a
that.
genius.
That's a good one.
Yep.
I like it. I want to say, since you mentioned it, summer cottage. Your kesämökki,
Oh,
the
yeah.
summer cottage. You have a tradition in Finland, and it is all classes. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be somebody with a mansion in Helsinki. You can be anybody anywhere in Finland, and it's common to work and have our family-owned, inherited summer cottage on a lake.
Yep.
Right? There's no question it's going to be on a lake.
Yeah,
It's not going to be in the woods. It's going to be on a lake. And usually, here's the cottage, and here's the sauna, right?
Yep.
All together. So you're putting these things together. If you go in the winter, obviously it's frozen over, but you still do the sauna.
Yeah.
Because then you go, what do you do with the lake?
A polar plunge. So we cut a hole in the ice and then jump there.
Oh
Go
my
back to the
God,
sauna.
yeah.
Cut the hole in the ice and jump in there.
Wow.
You can do it. You can do it. I remember looking at it and saying, I'm not going to do that. But anyway, Finland is you know this. Finland is the happiest country in the world. And Raymond's been keeping track of this. It's the 8th year, right? 8th year that they've won the happiest in the world championship. But what I've got to ask is, how is that happening?
I don't know. There's a lot of reasons. It's not the weather. per se,
No.
But
Low expectations.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, low expectations. And also, I think free healthcare.
Free
and
healthcare.
Free
Thank-
universities, and
Yes.
people are highly educated. And I think that makes a big part of it. And then it's just like the living conditions are like great in Finland.
Have a level playing field. It's not a lot of, heavy,
Extremes,
high,
Yeah.
and low.
Yeah.
It's right.
Oh
More
yeah, it's just like
equal.
the average life in Finland is like so good compared to average life in a lot of other countries. I think that's what makes the difference between other countries.
What's the word for sitting around in your underwear and drinking beer? There's a word for
Kalsarikännit.
that. What is?
Kalsarikännit.
I can't even pronounce it.
Golf.
It's an actual word in
It is.
Finnish
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
means sitting around in your underwear drinking beer.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, but apparently that's the way to get content too. In the when you have the talvisairaus, winter sickness.
Yeah.
What do they call it? There's a name for it.
Nuha.
Nuha.
Yeah.
See, in the wintertime, Finland is high enough in the globe that the darkness, the night, is longer than the little bit of daylight you get. And some Finns do get this depression. What do you
Yeah.
call it?
Uh, Kaamosmasennus.
And you actually can get treated for it. You can be recognized by a doctor
Yep.
to come in, and they say, "Oh yeah, that's what you have. That's the actual issue. You're outside the usual grid of happy Finns, so you got to get back in there, the happy Finns." But anyway,
Are you talking what we would say here, like the winter blues?
Winter blues, yeah.
Yeah.
no,
The
even
winter
worse,
blues.
even
Oh,
worse
yeah.
because of
Yes.
the
The
No,
long
and
length
I
of
believe
time.
it's scientific, is it not? I mean, the
No,
Right.
yes.
deprivation of light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're talking those real grim. Anyway, Nordic
Yeah,
stuff.
but there might be days in the winter when I go to school and it's dark, and when I get home from school it's dark.
Yeah,
Sure.
And then I have
Yeah.
hockey on the evenings. It's dark. It's just dark.
yeah. That's it. That's a dark vision.
It is.
Help me out this way. When I was in Finland and I visited relatives in near Vasa,
Yep.
do you know even Isokara?
Yep.
At all? You know Isokara. It's a small village. It almost sounds like Isokylä, which would be a big village, but it is a small village. Isokara is Isokylä, which is the river, Kyra river. I visited there, and as a treat, I didn't understand it at the time. As a treat to me, they introduced me brought this woman into the house to meet me specially. She spoke English, wonderful English. She was the school teacher. She was a teacher in the school of in Isokara, and I didn't understand, but I was being honored because a teacher is really somebody in
Yeah.
Finland, right?
Yeah.
How can you explain that in a few words? You've experienced being a student with teachers, multiple teachers. What's the schools like? I should say, how successful. The schools in Finland, the students in Finland regularly score higher than anybody in the world in the language and math tests that are given, the standard tests throughout the world. They regularly schedule, rank high. Why is that? They say it's because of the teachers. Tell us about that. And this was with no homework.
We have homework in Finland.
You did?
Yes, we do.
Oh, they changed that.
No, but
Koti.
kotiläksy. I mean, the teachers, in my experience, they're not like really like more than anyone else, but they usually have like a more like friend-like and like
Yes. Coach.
approach to the like teaching rather than here.
On a team, you have coaches.
Yeah.
And these people are like life coaches as well as academic coaches.
Yep, that's true.
Friends. Go ahead, please.
And also in like here in Rockport, and I think in every other school, you have to call your teachers like Mr. something, Mrs. something. In Finland, you don't have to do that. You can call the
Timo.
teachers by their first name. Yeah, yeah. I I have teachers who I like see in the street, and I'm like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And like their first name, and then it's just like we can chat about it. And I have a lot of my preschool teachers still come up to me and remember me, because the schools are usually like smaller, at least in my small town, and all of the teachers still remember you after years and years of teaching you. And it's very like individualistic, and everybody's taken into consideration while teaching.
This interesting. We're going to expand a little on this idea. Individualistic, where the one-on-one, the teacher has, I don't know, 10 students, I'm guessing. And of the 10, there's some that are quick learners, and some that are visual, and some that are oral, they listen to, and there's others who just are, they're independent and they want to study themselves and not be directed, but they do want to learn. They want to learn what they want to learn. So the teacher adopts to each one in this classroom.
Yep.
Is that true?
Yeah, it is.
When I taught at the university, that was my approach, and yet I never knew, I really wanted to reach out to people individually, but coach them, guide them through literature, guide them to history in ways that it would help them, not the overall curricula. And I was sometimes criticized for that, but I never knew maybe it came from my Finnish forebears.
Friday.
It's possible. Interesting now, you must be approaching college level.
Yeah.
And I think there's kind of a test that's performed. If your kotikieli is Finnish, you take it in Swedish. But if your kotikieli is Swedish, you take it in, what is that one? Is that? Well,
It's not quite like that, but Finland and Finnish and Swedish are both official languages.
They're official, but 95% speak Finnish,
yeah.
and 5% speak
Swedish.
that awful other language,
Yeah.
Swedish.
And still everybody has to learn how
You
to
have to
speak
learn
Swedish.
both.
Yeah, I know how to speak Swedish. And then we have to take tests on it at school. And
That's the thing.
it's a mandatory subject.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I almost disagreed with those percentages, because I have read that 75% of native Finns speak Swedish.
Yep.
So,
But they speak it.
But
right,
but you're right, in
Right.
terms of
Yeah.
the linguistic origin of their language.
Yeah. Another thing, people will be surprised to hear this. Living in Rockport, next to the ocean, and also in, Dogtown Common,
Yep.
you know the way. In Finland, those are open by every man's right.
Yep.
Yes?
Yeah,
Telephone, every man's right.
Jokamiehenoikeudet. That's called in
Jokimi-
Finnish. And I mean, if you see a forest, you can go walk there, you can
You
walk your
can.
dog there.
Doesn't matter who owns it.
Yep. And then if you see berries, you can eat the berries if you want to.
You can eat the berries.
One thing you can't do is harm the forest, so you
you can't chop the
can't
book.
cut the trees
Right.
or do like that.
Right.
But you can, especially you can have a tent and set up the tent in the forest, and nobody would care.
Yeah.
And nobody cares whose forest it is.
And that's a wonderful inheritance. I don't know how far back it goes. It certainly goes back to 100 years to independence. I don't know if it goes back to when the Russians were there. Probably not.
Probably not.
Isn't there some kind of a rule about hunting season
Yeah.
and going on other people's property?
Yes, there is.
What do you have to do?
There is hunting clubs. I'm a member of 4 hunting clubs, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then they have these designated areas to hunt, and then they have to buy licenses for animals they hunt, so that they don't hunt too many of them and don't ruin the entire population of the certain animal. I hunt moose, and then our clubs hunt them as a whole, and then there's days that all of the club is there and tries to hunt this one moose down, and then once they get the moose and shoot it and get the meat from it, it's all spread out to
Divided.
everyone from the club who's
Yes.
bought a meat license, it's called. And then they always get my dad used to have that, and our freezer is still full of moose meat from years ago.
Wow.
How long is it good for?
Oh, a long time.
What is the word for moose? Because we have, is it elk? Is what we have, is what they call moose?
I
I
think
don't
they're
know.
different animals.
What's the Finnish word for moose?
Hirvi.
Hirvi.
Yep.
Hirvi.
And
I
elk is
remember my relative. I didn't know, especially first there. I didn't know hardly any Finnish.
Yep.
So he was explaining he was a hunter,
Yep.
and he's doing hirvi with it.
Yeah.
And I just, I didn't know what he was doing. Hirvi. Anyway, but the other thing, I don't know if they've kept this tradition, but this goes back to the Winter War and things like that. Hernikeito.
Hernekeitto.
Hernikeito. Pea soup.
Yep.
Is it Wednesdays?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it still?
Yeah.
You go home.
Not every time, but sometimes. We eat it at school at least once a month. And everyone enjoys it. You put some mustard in it, and then you always have pancakes with it.
Okay. But in the wartime, privation, rationed food to make everything equal in the war effort, people every Wednesday in every household in Finland was eating pea soup. What is this?
It's mentioned in this book that they would always in the summer around the 4th of July have pea soup.
Yeah. Well, this one was carried over as you didn't have a lot of things, but
you
Finland had a lot of peas
Yeah.
in the farms. So they did the pea soup. Harnekeito.
Yep.
And it was Wednesdays. Again, there's a patriotic thing.
Would you say
But
it
this
again?
was
Oh,
a lot of people,
I didn't
don't
quite get the
associate it.
pronunciation of that.
Hernekeitto.
And if you broke that down, would it mean like
Pea soup.
piece of
Yeah. No,
of
pea soup.
But pea soup, okay.
Herne means pea and soup means keitto.
Okay, wow.
I had in the hotel when I was first week in Helsinki. Didn't know any word. I was learning words. I was looking to learn words, and hissi, means elevator.
Yes.
And the reason, I guess, because in the old days, at least, hissi, the elevator actually made a noise up and down like that.
Yeah.
So, but in Helsinki, at least in the nightclubs there, which I didn't go to, but they had hissi as well, which was a drink. The strongest drink they had was the hissi. That would take you up.
You're going to go
you know?
up.
Go
And so,
up.
So when I was telling a very dignified people, the little group of people, the Finns that were, what do you do? What have you learned in Helsinki so far? And so on. I said, well, I learned one word, hissi. And they all laughed, and I couldn't understand what was so funny about an elevator. And it was because if I learned the word hissi, it probably meant that I was going out drinking. But anyway, they have so many things there. Raitiovaunu. What's that?
It's tram.
Yes, it's like a above ground tram, not the subway because it's not underground, but above ground, and it has those lines. This is
Elevated line, yeah.
And these days things have changed. So not when I was there, but now they do. You buy like a ticket,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
To ride the take, but nobody comes. Very rarely anybody, right?
Yeah.
But if you get aboard without the ticket and you're caught, what happens?
A huge fine.
A huge
It's
fine.
like way bigger than the price of the ticket.
You
Wow.
don't want to do that.
Nope.
Be honest. And I mean, the Finns are very honest anyway. I found them to be so honest, you know this, if you're at a street corner and the light hasn't changed yet, unlike Rockport or Boston, right? Everybody's doing it.
Yep.
In Finland, they're all standing there waiting for that light, right? This is true. Amazing. I mean, what things have you're in Rockport now for about a year?
Yeah.
What have you noticed different about Rockport or America that isn't, it's just, wow, that's different from Finland?
I mean, the language.
Language, but you learned it.
But you speak so
You're good.
well.
Yeah, but it's still, it took some time to get into speaking English full time. Because I was once I got here, I was still thinking about things in Finnish.
In Finnish.
And that TV there is a telkari for me in Finnish.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of changed and I think about things in English.
Yes.
So it makes it way easier for me to speak English because I don't really have to think about anything in
Right.
Finnish first and then find the translation and then only say it.
How good, how nice. The other material I had on education was kind of already covered. What can you say about the schools? You're the high school of anything different about the high school that you'd say, well, that was different in Rockport than the high school in Finland?
I said the teachers are
Yeah.
more independent. Like they focus on independent teaching rather than one big group of people, and that the teachers are more like easily approachable as kind of friends. That's like one really like big thing. And the other thing is school lunches are really different in Finland compared to here, because here I've heard that you still have to pay for lunch sometimes. I mean, Rockport we get one free lunch a day,
Right.
and you can only get a certain portion. But in Finland it's free for everybody, and then you can take whatever you want as much as you want, and you can go back there and take more if you want.
Imagine that would reduce waste.
Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
Because
You
you're not
take only
eating
what
what
you
you don't
want,
want,
yeah.
but you are taking what you do eat.
Yep, it does.
Yeah, good. I like that.
May I ask, how easy would it be, in your opinion, for an American to go to Finland? I know no Finnish, and so would I find my way around? Would I be able to talk to people?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because there's like the percentage of Finnish people also speaking English
Yeah.
is just like awesome. How like easily you can approach Finnish people speaking English, and they can like speak English back to you. That's
Do you think they like to see tourists or come to their country? Or?
yeah. I mean, usually Finnish people, they are friendly, of course, and they're often really quiet and never
Yes.
never really approach you. But if you approach
Okay.
them and you kind of get them like dragged into the conversation, oh, they're so talkative sometimes, and like how I'm not like a normal Finn because I like to talk, like I like to start conversations.
Hey, you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah.
We have
This
found
is true.
one.
There is
But,
true. We
yeah.
found an actual talking Finn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's rare. It's funny. My parents told me they have a Australian Rotary exchange student in their house right now,
Oh.
and like he's apparently not talkative. So they told me that they lost an unauthentic Finn and got an authentic Finn by heart back.
I like that.
Right.
I like that. All right. Speaking of the fines on the right to kind of thing, I understand if you're speeding in a car and you're stopped and you're brought to the court,
Yep.
and the judge convicts you and he says, I'm going to sentence you now for a fine. How much money do you make? It's question.
Yes.
If you earn a lot of money, the fine will be
Yep.
higher
Yep.
proportion.
Yep.
And if you don't earn much money, the fine for the same thing is lower. Is
Yeah.
that true?
That's true.
Yeah.
And I think that's really like a great system to do it, because if you're rich and you do stupid things, and then everybody has to pay the same fine, then rich people don't like
care.
aren't affected as much.
What's that?
And then there's
Yeah.
the poor people who are affected, like they might not eat for a week if they
Right,
get the same
right.
price
Right.
as the rich
Yes,
people. So that's
Absolutely.
and that's like great, and it's like even for everyone.
Right. It makes it right. What are we talking about? We're talking about justice.
Yep.
So if it's just right, because the rich people going around say, if I'm caught, it's a $50 fine, which is only lunch. But
Yeah.
no,
No,
it's
it's true. I think-
$20,000.
yes,
Now
right,
it's sudden,
yes.
whoa, that's
Yeah.
going to
Is
be
that
something.
peculiar to individual to Finland, do you think, or is it now a concept in the European community at large?
I think that it's more like Finland. There's like that's like only.
Right. It happens there. in
I think it's
Finland.
only in Finland, at least as far as I know.
Yeah.
I think that there is more and more European countries kind of like changing to that system,
Uh-huh.
and like after Finland, because I think Finland was
Finland's
the first
the leader.
country.
Yeah.
Totally different subject. You got to tell me. It might be old-fashioned, not real anymore. You're going to tell me. Kalevala tunti.
Hmm?
What is? Is there a Kalevala hour in which you study Kalevala every day in the school? No more.
No, it hasn't been for a long time. I don't think.
Not a long time.
In the
Maybe your mother and father will tell you.
I don't think
Maybe
that
your
they had it either.
grandfather.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we would probably have to go back that far. And I mean, in the Finnish, like when we have Finnish class, like Finnish language class, and we have literature, that's where Kalevala plays like a big part.
Yeah.
because it's still like the national book of Finland.
Okay.
And it's like a lot of stories that people like write in Finland are like based on Kalevala and like share similarities and like
Was that something you encountered when you were there? That
Well, when I was there,
Yeah.
there was a joke, a standing joke, because I would ask questions of
Mm-hmm.
Finn students, college students. This is 1970.
Yes.
Before you were born. 1970, I'm talking with students, and I would say something like, have you read the Kalevala? And they would just say, Voi Kalevala tonti. They would, because in school it was everybody every day had 1 hour of this thing over and over, and it's old Finnish. It's not even modern Finnish, and you get the vocabulary. The vocabulary words are very different. You know what I'm talking about. But I'm pleased that you think it's now presented, but in a more pleasant way, that you can tolerate it, and you can also enjoy as a nation. Everybody your age has some familiarity with that.
Oh yeah.
Kalevala.
Yeah, I mean, if I asked someone to tell me something about Kalevala, they could name like the main ideas and main characters and something like that. I mean, if I were to go to like in-depth questions, nobody would know them.
Yeah.
But like we still have like the genuine idea of Kalevala.
Right. I like that. In one other way, Raymond, you probably already know this. He studies things, you know.
Mhm.
Number one in the world for computer literacy, Finland.
Checks out.
There, yeah. I've abandoned my Finnish heritage in that respect.
More people, proportionally, more people are adept and able to work with computers at all ages in Finland than anywhere else.
E-books are very popular
Yeah,
in Finland
that's
also. True. Yes, and even in libraries, they exceed the circulation exceeds that for the pages, written page.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
If I could add here, when computers became a thing, the Finnish government put together a course in computers. It was free, and I think they were expected maybe and they were going to offer the instruction over time. And so I think the first year they were expecting maybe 500 people to sign up on their own. Well, it was well over 2,000.
Sure.
And so then they continued after that. So that the country had a plan beyond just putting a piece of technology in your home.
Yeah.
You know, how to use it.
Yeah, I mean, in school, like I think third grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, we were like taught how to write with a keyboard, like the 10-finger system, like how fast you can write and everything.
Yes.
And then there was this like games on the computer that you could like play by learning how to do this. And then it was like now everybody kind of knows it.
No question.
Everybody knows. I mean, certainly everybody my age knows how to use a computer, but also everybody my parents' age and my grandparents' age know how to use a computer.
Right, like that. When what am I thinking? I'm sorry. There's something about the computer. Are you able here to communicate with your parents or people over in Finland easily?
Yeah,
and
I am.
You don't need the phone in long distance like I used to have.
No, I.
Telegrams.
Yeah, I mean, I just today I video called my dad on my phone, and like he was in another town. He wasn't in my hometown, and he was in a car waiting for my brother to finish his hockey tryouts.
And you still knew how to speak Finnish.
Yeah.
You haven't lost it yet.
No, I haven't.
May I ask, when you first came to America, the United States, as you mentioned, you did not choose it; it sort of chose you.
Yeah.
But is there one or two things you could say that surprised you about the United States that you didn't think? You had this idea that it would be like this, but this was a big surprise. I didn't know it was like this. Anything like that surprised you, or you had a pretty good idea already?
The biggest thing that I was surprised of is that like how well it matched my expectations.
Okay.
I thought that there would be more like room for like change from my expectations to what it actually is, but it was pretty much like the same as I've thought since like I was a kid,
Wow.
and how I've talked about the United States, and that's why it was so easy to adapt once I came here, because I already kind of knew how stuff worked and like had a general like idea of how it was here before I came here. But one thing that surprised me, like although there's not a lot of things, is how outgoing people are, like how easily approachable people are compared to Finland. I told you about people still being like easily approachable in Finland once you go
Once
talk to them.
Yeah, get over
But then in here, people come here come and talk to you, and then I was like, "Ooh, this has never happened to me before." But then I got used to it, and like because I've always been in Finland, I've been the one who goes and talks to people.
Well, and this is New England, where we're told we're reserved.
That's right.
Yeah, no.
Wow. And I did want to mention, that you because of your hockey, that there have been many hockey people just on KPN who have become famous in the sport. And at the University of UMass, on the national, they won the national championship. There were Finnish players on the team.
Actually, this year there was in the NCAA championships.
Yes.
There was Western Michigan won, and they had 2 Finnish players.
Yep.
Now, this is again old stories. 1970. I'm at the hockey rink. Helsinki has a big hockey rink for that.
Yeah.
And they had it was an important game. It was between the Finnish team and the Russian team.
Yeah.
So Russians, apparently that's well attended when it happens. And the Finns were doing so wonderful and scoring the goals. And my buddy there said, Kekkonen is going to have to go to Moscow to apologize.
That's cute. That's funny.
Oh yeah.
On another subject, and people out there who are young married and having children are going to be interested by this question. If you're married in Finland, you have a child, you have a decision to make. The government's going to give you a gift, and you have a choice between 2 things. Do you know what the 2 things are? He might not be ready yet.
Yeah,
He doesn't.
I'm
No,
not,
the
I'm not
2
thinking
things.
of having kids yet.
They give a sum of money.
Yeah, and
or
then they give
the box.
yeah,
The baby box.
that works as a bed, and then there's clothes and
the
like
little crib, the bedclothes.
I have heard that.
And you can either get that or the money.
Yeah.
Either
Money.
one.
yeah.
Because
I
they
think
like
that my parents actually still have the box that I got when I was
Oh.
born.
That's very practical people. The box it comes in is usable, reusable, and keepable as a legacy.
Yeah.
That's the box we got because you were born.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and I think that we've like passed down the clothes that I wore like from that box, and we've passed on to my
durable,
cousins
good. Yes,
who were born
yes.
like
Yeah,
4 years ago,
Yeah.
and they've like been like passed down, and they're like great quality clothes.
that's the thing. And which I may say is reason many more Finns choose the box than the money,
Yep.
even though some people choose the money. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of things we could say. Did you have more questions as well?
In terms of, well, it's not politics, but in terms of geography, are the Finns concerned about Russia and the 800-mile border that Finland shares with it?
Yeah, the short answer is yes, because everyone seen in the news what Russia is doing, and
Ukraine? Yeah.
there's been like they've tried to affect our like government by trying to send like from Russia they've sent people to the border and tried to get in Finland, and then they had to close the borders, and the first time since the Second World War that they've had to close the borders. So it's a real threat right there. And also there was this like oil tanker and this
Go ahead.
that got like the gas pipe in
Underground.
in this the sea between Finland and Estonia.
Baltic Sea. Yes.
Baltic Sea, yeah. And then the Finland Coast Guard had to seize the ship, and they've had to like, it's scary.
It
Scary
is.
times.
It is. It is. When I was in Finland, and it still may be true, at 12 noon on the dot in Helsinki train station, there was a train that pulled out from Helsinki that went to, at that time they called it Leningrad.
Yeah.
which now Petersburg, and it was empty. I mean, very few people. Very few people wanted to go. I took the ride. It was like Christmas time. Where else am I going to go? I'll go to see Russia. They got the visa, and I'm on the train. And where's everybody else? We go. There's nobody who wanted to go from Finland to see Russia at all, except me. And then Leningrad. But I don't know if it's still running. If it's running, it's probably empty. The 12 noon train from Helsinki to Leningrad.
I'm not quite sure, but I think that at least since the border's been closed, it hasn't been like there anymore.
Yeah.
But I think that before the border was closed, my friends went to a hockey tournament in Moscow, and I think that they took the train first to Leningrad and then from there to Moscow.
Right, you'd have to change trains. That's right. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that that's how it went.
We talked earlier about hockey.
Yeah.
Is hockey? Is it the same in Finland as it is here? You know, the rules are the same, and
It's pretty much the same, but the rink is smaller here. They actually, people here call the Finland rinks Olympic-sized rinks because they're a bit wider compared to the ones that are thin here, and that brings a physical aspect to the game here because there's a smaller space, there's more hits, and I actually liked it a lot because I mean I'm short, but I'm strong and kind of like that, and then I really like battling in the corners and getting the puck, and it suited my place.
You have the advantage. You come in from this big rink and it's small. Good for you.
But they do adapt because they were also known in the United States as being finesse skaters that they can skate fast and shoot fast.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you got other questions?
how about habits of American youth? Do you notice any that were new to you, and also expressions?
I mean, the average teenager diet is different compared to Finland. There's so much processed foods and stuff. And then also one thing that caught my eye right as I came here, because I've spent time with people my age, is the use of marijuana, weed, because it's legal here and it's not legal anywhere in Finland. And of course, it's not legal for people my age, but it's so much more easily accessible for people even my age here.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people who do it still.
Yeah.
But in Finland, I've never met anyone who's done that before, and that's why it came as such a shock for me once I came here, because it was how is this drugs everywhere?
Yeah. That's a big change for some people our age too. We just don't have. Well, in Rockport, they didn't even have alcohol, right?
That's right.
Anyway,
Is Sweden allowed marijuana now for adults?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. I think it's not allowed in any Nordic countries.
That's a great observation. Yeah.
Speaking of alcohol, the government had the monopoly. The only place you could buy alcohol was the government.
Yep.
That's still true.
Yep.
And they had distinctive black bags, plastic bags,
Yes.
right? And I remember encountering somebody who was an older gentleman who was very dignified, again, like a banker or something. I don't know, from the Rotary, I guess. And he was coming along the street with this black bag of stuff. And he said, it's my wife's birthday. He didn't want to be, I saw him, he had a black, he got some booze from the, anyway. But that's something. That the only alcohol sold is it raises revenue for the Finnish government and the programs that they have.
And liquor is expensive in Finland.
Yeah.
So what is it that people do to cut expenses?
First thing, there's this huge case of beer that they sell in grocery stores, because you can buy beer mild alcohol in grocery stores, and it's only the spirits and I think there's a percent limit on what you can buy in grocery stores, and I think that they just upped it just a bit a few years back. So people drink beer, cheap beer. That's how a lot of people my age do in Finland. And that's how they get drunk and get their hands on stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And, but then also there is some people who can't even afford that, and then they go to the store and they buy yeast, water, and sugar, and then they just put them all in a bucket and then make it themselves.
No kidding. Never heard. There's just still that going on in a homemade way. Good for them. Yes.
I'd be curious in knowing, is there any American or someone in the United States that you would like to meet? Like if you could meet one person, let's say, that you admired maybe, or that you would like to know more about, or...
Put me on the spot here.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Male or female, a famous actor? Or...
There's a lot of hockey players I would like to
Sure,
meet.
I thought you'd say.
But I don't want to say that because that's an obvious reason, like obvious thing. But I don't know.
Like before you came here, were there any Americans like who might be well known in Finland, like even just on the news or?
There's a few music artists that everyone in Finland listens to. I would like to meet, and of course politicians I would like to meet, just to like see what their views on.
And
certain
is there
things.
a place in the United States you would like to visit before you go back? Do you have a couple of places you'd like to see?
It's a pretty weird one, but I would love to go to Oregon. Because it kind of resembles me.
I bet.
Of Finland, and that I've seen like videos of it and the scenery. It's like beautiful.
One thing that I should have said, and you may be familiar with this from you visited in Finland, and I have. I didn't realize Americans tend to sometimes get so excited in talking they interrupt.
Yep.
And in Finland, if I'm right, it's a taboo. You don't interrupt somebody talking.
Yeah.
I did so in this program, and I noticed a little, because I'm asking a question, and you're starting to talk, and then I said so. You don't interrupt anybody.
That's true. It's kind of like an unwritten rule, and it's just. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to sometimes interrupt someone and try to like sneak your opinion in between sentences, but it's just I'm not used to it. I've only gotten like kind of used to it while I've been here. Because as you said, it really happens here rather than in Finland.
Yeah.
And it's just,
wow.
Especially first, like when I came here,
Yeah.
7 months ago, 8 months ago, a long time ago, I've got like really used to it by the time. But first I got here and like somebody interrupted me, I was like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do that, so I have to be careful. But I assure you, like on our talk show, which preceded this, for me, I get very excited, and I want to share that excitement. It's not like being bossy or that my opinion is more important than somebody else, because I'm excited to hear what other people have to say.
Yeah.
Don't believe him. He always interrupts people. Anyway, thank you so much for being with us. It's been an intriguing time for me, and I think people that are going to be listening to this are going to be having some fun learning about Finland in this way. And leave it to you. So we have a couple of minutes. If you wanted to say anything at all to people at large, please do so. You have uninterrupted time. You can do that.
I mean, first of all, thank you everyone for giving me the chance to be here. And Wayne, thank you for the invite. It's been a kind of a dream of mine to sometimes be interviewed in TV and like shown somewhere. So thank you for that. I got to talk about hockey, which is of course my favorite thing to talk about because I've been playing it for 17 years. And it was a pleasure. And for everyone watching and listening, really visit Finland and get to know about Finland. And your view of life is gonna change for the better, in my opinion. Kind of biased, but...
Could you say some of that in Finnish?
Kiitos kaikille. Kiitos. Ei mulla muuta.
What's the hyvästi? Is that
It means goodbye.
in a nice way, right?
Yeah.
Farewell. Is there a näkemiin?
Näkemiin is see you again.
See you again.
Yeah, okay.
Näkemiin.
So we'll do that.
See you again.
Näkemiin.
Näkemiin.
Näkemiin. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.